Hey Crossview Church, Pastor Kyle, and just want to give you guys an update on what we're doing here in this column for e-news. We are providing you guys with some resources. We're going through several different topics, and we'll do different ones throughout the whole year. Right now we have started on this topic of the treasure principle. This is actually a book written by Randy Alcorn. We have some copies of it available in our library, but we also have access provided to you through Right Now Media. If you don't have Right Now Media, you can email us at info@cvgrable.org and say, hey, I'd like to get signed up for Right Now Media, and we'll send you the link so you can log in and sign up. If you get Right Now Media, you'll be able to access the multi-part series where Randy Alcorn himself walks through this book that he's written, The Treasure Principle. So in the meantime, since you can go check that out, but we also want to provide some little nuggets of information as you listen to these videos, I just want to point out some things throughout the book over the next few weeks that I find interesting. So the first thing that I would want to talk about is money and the weirdness that we have when we think about money in the church. So it's usually a little bit uncomfortable to talk about money because there's been churches who have abused money. There have been pastors who have, done ridiculous things with money, buying jets and planes and multi-million-dollar campuses and buildings. So it's, to say the least, it's a little bit of an uncomfortable topic. So we need to remember, though, that in the New Testament, Jesus talks frequently about money. And it's not because he's trying to bash people with how much you need to give. Really, what Jesus is concerned with is the connection between our hearts and our faith and our hearts and following Jesus. And one of the things that can often get in between us and following God is our pursuit or desire for money. Even if you don't have a lot of money, the desire to want more, to try to get as much as you can lead to some negative spiritual consequences. We see this when Jesus talks to, for instance, the rich young ruler. This young person who had apparently assumed or had inherited or made for himself a lot of money, comes to Jesus one day and essentially says, "What do I need to do in order to get to heaven?" And Jesus tells him, "Well, have you followed the law?" And of course, in his pridefulness, he says, "Yeah, I've followed the law, but what else should I do?" And Jesus says, "Well, sell everything you own and then come follow me." Now, did Jesus need him to sell everything he owned in order to follow him? Probably not. What's more likely is that Jesus recognized there was some pridefulness hidden in this young ruler's heart, and that pridefulness was probably tied, at least in part, to the possessions that he had. Now, I think you need to be honest with yourself. Is there anything that you become prideful about connected to your possessions? I think we do this all the time. We like to have nice vehicles. We like to have nice homes. We like to be able to go on fun vacations and trips. And those things can be wonderful, but they can be detrimental if we let them come between us and following Jesus. So that's just the first nugget of wisdom in the first chapter of this book. It really gets to the heart of what Randy Alcorn calls the treasure principle, which is simply this, and he says this on page 18 if you get the book or just want to check it out in the library after worship. He says, the treasure principle is you can't take it with you, but you can send it on ahead. In other words, our treasures that we get here on earth, they stay here when we die. We can't take them with us, but we can put them to good use here while we're here. And even after we're gone, we can have sent them in such a way that they can continue to make an impact on the lives of people all over the place for the gospel, for the kingdom, or just for the good of helping people in your community. So I want you to consider checking out the treasure principle, give it a read, and then as we talk, you'll be able to follow along. Also, the Right Now Media videos will help you be able to digest the information as well. So check out the treasure principle. Let's learn some together.